Hi there, I'm Vincent Boss and I provide dating and self-improvement advice. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing what your ex wonders about you. I provide audio coaching for breakup recovery, trying to get an ex back, attracting someone new, and life coaching. Visit www.dateme.tips for more details. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. Check out my socials for extra content. The links are in the description. So now let's get back into today's podcast. And today we are discussing what your ex wonders about you. So if you have been dumped and want to try to get your ex back, you will likely wish you knew what your ex was thinking. In today's podcast, I'll be discussing 3 things that your ex-dumper wonders about you. So let's get straight into this, and point number 1 is, how are you handling the breakup? Now, depending on how you as a dumpee proceed post-breakup will potentially give or not give the answer to your ex-dumper about how you are handling the breakup. Now, it's very important that you consider the possibilities from this point. Now, first of all, you could be handling the breakup in a way which is understandable, but also very negative in the scheme of things. Now, you might say, well, why is it very negative? Well, please listen on. If you are behaving in a way which is emotionally unstable, that is understandable. I'm not saying that I don't understand. I'm not saying that anybody could do any better. You know, I've been overly emotional in my past. I'm sure everybody listening has as well. So this isn't about being hard on you, but it's just saying that if you behave in an overly emotional way, that is a negative connotation when trying to get your ex back. So we must separate those elements. It's understandable. No one's being harsh on you. But if you want to get your ex back, we have to consider that being overly emotional post-breakup is not going to help you get your ex back. So that is a negative outcome, so to speak, post-breakup. If you're behaving in a way which is needy, desperate, if you're behaving in a way which is very emotionally unstable in general, whatever that might look like in your specific circumstance, that isn't going to help you going forward. I'm not saying that you're deliberately doing it. I'm not saying that it's easy to stop being in that frame of mind, but you can get through this. You can get to a better place in your mindset, and you can evolve the way you are acting and behaving and ultimately feeling. Because like I said, that is a negative. You know, if your ex-dumper does wonder about how you're handling the breakup and they see you're behaving in a way which fits into that narrative, then unfortunately your chances of reconnecting are very, very slim. So your ex-dumper might be wondering how you're handling the breakup, but can see clearly due to what you post on social media, and it's all negative and upsetting and depressive. Okay, that sadly won't help you. Similarly, if you speak to friends of friends, now listen, it's very important to talk, but if you're speaking to friends of friends, you've got to understand they will likely pass this information on to your ex-dumper. Whether they say they will or they won't, they will, okay? That's the reality, and your ex-dumper will once again know your position, which is unfortunately in a difficult place right now, and that isn't going to be deemed as romantically attractive. So if you want to get your ex back, when your ex-dumper is wondering how you're handling the breakup, if they find out that you are living a life in a way which is very negative, very emotionally unstable, sadly, that isn't going to help you. Of course, the most obvious way that they might find this out is if you are begging and pleading by constantly texting or calling them, etc., etc. But sometimes dumpees might think, well, you know, I'm not actually contacting my ex, but I'm just speaking to other people, I'm posting online, what's the problem? Well, they can still find out. So although the most obvious way they will find out is if you are directly contacting them, directly chasing them, even if you don't, if you post it in a public forum, if you're speaking to friends of friends, they will find out anyway. Now, the next possibility is that you go completely radio silent. And that is where your ex-dumper is really going to be wondering about you, as fits in with point number 1, because the difference is here is they have nothing to go on. They have nothing to go on whatsoever. You're not chasing them. You're also not posting online. You're also not speaking to friends of friends. They have nothing. And this will make your ex-dumper really start to wonder about you, hence the name of today's podcast. What is my ex wondering about me? This is what they'll be wondering. How are you handling the breakup? Because they've got nothing to go on. They're going to be very, very confused. They're going to be thinking in one moment, okay, well, they're clearly living their life without me, and that means they've got over me very quickly. Or alternatively, they might think, oh no, I know my dumpee. They'll be hiding at home alone in their room, and they'll just be plain hard to get. Your ex-dumper will probably move around these positions in their mind about what they think you're actually doing and for why. Ultimately, this is a good place for you as a dumpee to be if you don't know how to proceed better than this. I would refer to this as the middle option. It's not the worst, it's not the best, but it's certainly better if you don't know what to do. If you don't know what to do otherwise, this isn't a bad place to be, because your ex-dumper, although they might at times think you're playing hard to get, think they know you, think they know you're playing a game, they will get to the stage where they do start to consider, wait a minute, my ex-dumpee may have actually moved on. Is that what they've done? And that will start to pull on them. We want to regrow intrigue and ultimately romantic emotional attraction in your ex-dumper's mind. And this radio silence option will definitely fit into that bracket. But as I mentioned, this isn't the best option for you dumpees. If you want to try to get your ex back, and when your ex-dumper is starting to wonder about you, they're starting to wonder how you're handling the breakup, the best thing you can do is to live your life in a way where positive information drip feeds back to your ex. Now, even though this is the best option, I still don't suggest you speak to friends of friends about the breakup unless the friends of friends bring it up. If they do, then try to promote yourself in the best possible light, showcasing yourself as someone who is living your life in the best way and you are not emotionally unstable. Now, if you feel that you are having to almost fake it till you make it, then there can be some benefits to this as long as you are getting support on the other side. It is important to talk. Just because I don't suggest you release your feelings to friends of friends, it doesn't mean you shouldn't be releasing your feelings to friends and family who aren't connected to your ex. It doesn't mean you shouldn't be releasing your feelings to a doctor, a counsellor. Maybe you want to speak with myself via my audio coaching service. That is safe because your ex-dumper can't find out about it. If you pass on information, good or bad, to a mutual friend, it will get back to your ex. So ideally, don't speak about the breakup to friends of friends, but if you feel you have to, then you can behave in a way in the best possible light that you will be seen in, okay? Because this will then be passed on and that will fit in to the best possibility of point number one. Because we want your ex-dumper to view you as living your life in the best way possible. Now, you can also do this on social media, and you can also do it by implementing my version of a no contact rule and not contacting your ex. Because the difference between radio silence and this option is although you're not contacting your ex, which is the same radio silence, I'm not suggesting that you go cold turkey on social media. If you feel your mental health is up to it, then post positive things. Because this will drip feed back to your ex. It will paint the picture that you are living your life to the full, which is a lot more attractive than if you've just vanished completely and your ex-dumper is half wondering if you're just playing a game and actually in your room with your head in your hands. So this is why there is that subtle difference between those two options. But point number one of what your ex-dumper is wondering about you, well, that is how you're handling the breakup. So now let's get into point number two and the second point of today's podcast. Please like this video if you're watching on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. And point number two is, are you dating? Now, if when we considered point number one, you followed that first element, the element of speaking in a somewhat negative, upsetting, emotionally unstable way to friends of friends, to your ex directly, maybe on social media, if you are doing those things, then your ex-dumper is not going to be wondering whether you're dating because they'll know. They'll know the answer is no. They will know that there is no way you could be dating anybody else because you're clearly still pining for them. Now, this is not where you want to be. If you want to get your ex back, they need to believe that you might be dating someone new. So how can you do this? Well, you can do this by living your life again in a positive sense. As I said before, there is that middle option of going radio silence where there will be that wonder that your ex-dumper has about you, and they will start to consider, is my ex-dumpee dating someone new? Is that why I'm not hearing anything from them? And that is a good middle option. But alternatively, if you live your life in the right way, you can really make your ex-dumper believe this could be reality. Now, I'm not suggesting that you go online dating, you go on one date, you take a sneaky photo of your date, you post it on social media and say, hey, I'm on a date. Okay, no, I'm not suggesting you do things so obvious, because if anything, it will really showcase that you are once again trying to play a game. No, the way you can suggest to your ex-dumper that you might be dating someone new is just by living your life in a way where you make new connections. And you can make new connections in different aspects. Yes, go online dating. Yes, go speed dating. Yes, go on a date where you have got to know somebody in the real world in some regard. But also join classes, groups and clubs. This is a way where you can subtly get across to your dumper that you may be dating, even though there is no direct, hey, I'm on a date. The reason for this is if you go to new classes, groups and clubs, the likelihood is eventually you will start to go on social events. If you join a class, group or club, there will come a time where somebody will say, hey, how about we all get together for a meal or for a drink or for whatever it may be. You will all meet outside of the place that you first met each other. And what will happen? Well, there will be photos. What you do with the photos is you post them online, and guess what? If and when your ex-dumper sees them, they're going to be thinking, who are these people? Who is my ex standing next to? What's going on here? Now, you as a dumpee might really want your ex back. You might not want anybody who you are spending time with in a class, group or club to be your new partner. You might not want to date them. However, just the fact that you're standing next to them in a photo can create wonder and intrigue. This is what we're looking for. We want your ex-dumper to believe that you are a dateable individual. If you're not a dateable individual, then why would they want to get back together with you? And how can you present yourself as a dateable individual? Being someone that others want to spend time with. Photos, like I said, at the social events, but also many other ways. Just being more active in your life, spending time with other people, making new connections, even if it's just friendships, can start to get back to your dumper as you live in your life in a different way to how you did with them. And if you're living your life differently with other people, there's a good chance that you have evolved, grown and changed to the point of where others would be attracted to you. And we want your ex-dumper to see that. Because if other people are attracted to you, then you must be an attractive individual, and your ex-dumper might start to regret ending the relationship. Now, if you would like advice and support about how to try and increase the chance of one day getting your ex back, then you may want to consider my audio coaching service, where me and you can speak one-on-one about your unique specific situation. Go to my website www.dateme.tips for more information about how I can become your coach and your teammate via my audio coaching service. Talking about your feelings can also improve your mental health. It helps prevent the buildup of negative emotions, which can lead to stress, anxiety, depression, and even physical health issues. Speak your heart to free your mind. So now let's get to point number 3 and the final point of today's podcast. If you feel that this podcast has helped you, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description. And point number 3 is, do you still have feelings for them? So today we're speaking about what your ex wonders about you. And this is the one that you want your ex-dumper to wonder about you more than anything that we've said so far. And that is, do you still have feelings for them? Now, if your ex-dumper gets to this point, well, this is where they must be growing feelings for you. They will not be thinking whether or not you still have feelings for them unless they are starting to regrow feelings for you. Now, of course, there could be that position where your ex-dumper is feeling that you are hassling them, where you are chasing them, where you are texting and calling them, and then all of a sudden you stop. And they might be wondering, do they still have feelings for me? Are they actually going to leave me alone now? Yes, there is that place where your ex-dumper might be wondering this question, but from a slightly different place from them regrowing feelings themselves, more so because they're hopefully just feeling a bit more relieved that you are no longer pressuring them into something which sadly right now they don't want. But even if you did chase your ex, even if you then stopped and then your ex-dumper wonders if you have feelings, but not from a romantic place in their mind. If you maintain my version of a no contact rule, they will get to that point of where they're wondering if you have feelings because they've started to regrow them themselves. This is natural human instinct, it's natural human behavior. We all want to feel love. We all want to feel number one. And if you all of a sudden pull the rug from under somebody's feet, they will feel confused. So even though your ex-dumper chose to end the relationship, even though they don't want you to chase them, even though they don't want to actually be with you right now, if you remove your interest, they will start to wonder why. Why aren't they? Why aren't I good enough? Why doesn't my ex-dumpee want to chase me? I didn't want them to chase me, but I thought they would. And now they're not? What's going on? And this can develop over the weeks and months and evolve from them feeling somewhat relieved that you're not chasing them to actually starting to feel confused and a little bit unsturdy about their position, because your ex-dumper sees you as their safety net. They see you as always being there. And guess what? As soon as you aren't, that doesn't feel so good for the dumper. And when they start to feel unsturdy on their feet, this is when they can start to regrow romantic emotional attraction. And that's what they need to do. When they ended a relationship, this level of attraction was very low that they felt towards you. We need to regrow that in their mind. And if and when it hits the necessary high point, that is when they may consider reaching out to you. And if and when they reach out to you, you're one step closer to getting your ex back.